This is part 4 now of the Red Dead Redemption General Store, and I want to work on the counter here. So I'm just going to focus just on that thing right there. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the bevel on it and come in here and select this edge, Shift S, cursor to selected, bring my 3D cursor there, and we're going to build a hole replacement counter. Just use this as a reference actually. Alright, so the way I think I'm going to do this, so many different ways you can do this. I'm going to try it with a circle with, say, maybe 20 vertices. We'll try that. And I'm going to rotate Y 90. And I'm going to look from actually the side, I guess. Take that and scale it down and use this to make the counter top. So I can just pull it over here, actually work on this. And so what I only want this curve right there. Alright, I'll just make it a little bit smaller, bring that. So we're going to have a curve like that. And we'll take this point, I think we'll extrude up a little bit, and we'll extrude back a little bit. And this one we'll just take, we'll come forward a little bit, down, and maybe back. And I'm going to turn on snap to vertex, and we'll just pull it back to there. So we'll have, let's focus on that, this sort of profile. Now I'm going to slide that down and hold Control to snap to there, press E to extrude and pull it out, and we're going to snap to somewhere around there. Let's just have a look at that. This piece here, let me stand there a bit more, it's going to go out to there, and we'll have that shape. Hopefully that'll be okay. So now I'm going to come in here and select maybe that edge, this edge, this edge. Let's bevel those. Actually, might as well grab that one as well. I'm going to bevel those edges. There's 2, 3, just like that. Smooth it up a little bit. So let's try that. Sometimes it's trial and error, and it might stick out too much, but hopefully it'll be okay. I'm going to go into edit mode and wireframe, one for vertex selection, and I'm going to border select that vertex there. I hope I just got the one there. Shift S, cursor selected. Bring my 3D cursor there and switch over to the 3D cursor, so my pivot's there. Alright, I'm going to grab all of those, and I'm going to come over here, use my scroll wheel on my mouse, scroll down to this, which is the shear tool, grab that, and I'm just going to pull this outwards like this, let go, and this has got a minus sign in front of it. I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to make this -1, like that. Then I'm going to come over here, border select that, Shift S, cursor selected. Now my pivot is moved over there, select all of them, and take this and just pull that out like this, and let that pop up, and change that to 1. So it might be a little bit bigger than the counter as it is, but that's okay for now. Median point, and scroll up back to there. Let's have a look at this piece now. So we've got it cut and angled like that. Okay. So the way I'm going to do this, I think, is going to look down from the top, go into edit mode, wireframe, box select here, and I'm going to E to extrude, and I'm going to start pulling it down here, coming down to around here. Let's just have a look at that. Okay, so we have that little corner. We'll fill in the middle part later. Let's work on the other side now. Select there again, 7 for top view, wireframe, border select, E to extrude, and this one we're going to pull down to around there. So just using the original counter as a guide. Okay, so far so good. This one is already ready to go, in that we can go into edit mode and wireframe, border select, and I can press E to extrude and just come out this way now. And when I get to around there where it's going to hit the wall, I'm going to straighten this out. So I'm going to press SX0, and I could snap it to there if I even really want to. Hopefully it will hit the wall, and we have our corners okay. This one, on the other hand, we have to be careful about not rotating anything or bending it. So I'm going to take that, scale it in the Y0, SY0, so it's straight. I can pull it down to around there. Now I want to shear this, so I'm going to box select or border select there, Shift S, cursor selected, switch to my 3D pivot, grab that, come over to my shear tool again, and just pull this downwards. And I'm going to come, there's a minus sign in front, so it's -1. Just like that. Turn that off, back to median point, back to this. And I can take this if I want, I can come up a bit further so that these points line up with here, doesn't really matter. But with those selected, I'm going to press E to extrude, pull out like this. I'm going to scale it in the X, SX0, and I can snap it to these or to the end there. So let's have a look at this and hope that I didn't curve it anywhere or bend it. Alright, so far so good. Now let's take this, Shift H, right? Just to focus on this. Go into edit mode, and we're going to find the top vertex there. And I'm going to shift select that vertex right across from it, press F to make a face, deselect, press 2 for edge selection, and then I'm going to select this edge and hold shift in this edge, F to make a face, and we've got sort of the top of the counter there. Okay, now I'm going to come over here, I'm going to select this edge and this edge, F to make a face. So we have this. I just went back into object mode. Hopefully that's not too thin. I may take the whole thing and scale it in the Z and see if I like it any better. I haven't shade smoothed yet. Before I go any further, I want to come in here and select this edge and this edge. And I want to duplicate them, pull them down, just pull them out of the way, P to break them out. We're going to use that piece later. Back to this. Okay, we are going to do the same thing on the bottom. And you may not see the bottom, but you may see under a little bit, because this is going to stick over the rest of the counter walls. And so I'm actually going to fill in the bottom. It's debatable if you want to or not, but I'm going to select that point and this one, F to make a face, and do the same thing we did before. I think it's this edge. Just got to make sure we get the right edge. F. This edge and this edge, F. And now we have it all sort of sealed in. I still feel like it's too thin, so I'm going to scale it in the Z. I mean, I can always come back and not do that. Alt-H is to bring that back for the moment. So imagine it sits there. Now it's going to extend more, so I'm not going to worry too much. I'm going to actually get rid of that and now just use this. Now the next thing I want to do is put some posts on it. And I will bevel these edges in a bit. I'm going to select here, Shift S, cursor selected, just anywhere in that area, because I want to bring in a cube and scale it down. And I'm going to look from the top, and I'm going to go into wireframe, and I'm just going to pull this and sort of follow this diagonal line a little bit and sort of try to get this underneath here. And I'm not sure exactly where yet, so we'll figure that out as we go along. Maybe a bit bigger. Take this face and delete it. Take this face and we'll pull it down. I'm going to press the slash to bring the floor back, because I just wanted to get a sense of where the floor is. Now take that and just make sure it makes contact there, and then I can come into here and grab that face and pull it down into the floor, and then X faces. So we have that piece there. And before I copy this around, I'm going to go ahead and I think bevel this. I'm going to just do this by hand, Control B, pull, and I want 3 edges in there. And not too round. I tend to like my wood a little rounder than many people might. Select an edge at the back there, Control E, mark seam. Well, I did do it. Mark seam. So that when we copy it, we already have some seams. Now let's make sure that that is all in the counter collection. Okay, so we can just focus on that. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is actually I'm going to come back for a second, And I'm going to hide the floor and see there. I want that line there. I want to just bring that up a little bit, somewhere there. I want to make sure that goes in there as well. Okay, so having done that, okay, we can now just focus on the counter itself. Slash key. Okay, press 3 to look from the side. Actually, not yet. I'm just going to grab this edge because it goes all the way across here, and Shift S, cursor to selected. Bring my 3D cursor right in the middle so I could use that for my mirror. I'm going to add a mirror in the Y, but let's also do set origin to the 3D cursor. So now I have that post on the other side and it's still got the seam. Okay, so far so good. I'm going to apply that mirror and come in, select a bit, Control L, look from the side, and I'm just going to copy this one by hand and use the 3D cursor as my center point. So just try to sort of center it up. Doesn't matter that much. Okay, so far so good. And then I'm going to come in here. I'm going to take this one and P to break it out. And I'm going to mirror that across here. And to do that, I will select this edge. Shift S, cursor to selected, 3D cursor is right in the middle. Take that, set the origin to the 3D cursor and add a mirror. It'll be in the X and it's fine. And so I'm going to take that and apply that mirror and I'm going to join those together. So we have those. All right. Before I go any further, maybe I will go ahead and bevel this. I'm going to Shift Alt and click this edge, and I'm going to Control B and just give it a small bevel like that. I don't need to do this end, and it's open, so we're not wasting polys. But I am going to come down here and Shift Alt and click there, and it'll end right there, and that's fine. And I'm going to do this one. Control B, just a small bevel like that. Well, shade smooth. And I will probably have to put on weighted normal. Normal's auto smooth, but when I join everything that may get lost, but that's how that surface looks. So, you know, whether or not you like that design. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm actually going to grab that edge again, or any edge really. Shift E to duplicate, just pull it down. I could have used this piece, I suppose. P to break it out, and this will have, I don't need that right now. I just want half. I want to make a piece that goes there. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to subdivide. We'll just put a point right in the middle. So now I can take this vertex and get rid of it. And I have sort of just a half. 3 to look from the side. And I'm just actually going to move it and sort of try to get it equal. I'm going to scale it a bit. It's going to go behind the post. I just want it roughly in the middle. All right, I'm going to bring that up. E to extrude. I'm going to pull that down. And it's going to go sort of under this line. Not sure where the line is going to be yet. Let me just go ahead and push that back and get a sense of what's going on here. Something like that. So before I continue to work on that, I'll do what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to take this and I got a point there, there, and there. That should be okay. I'm going to extrude this down. Now I need the floor again, so I need to bring everything back because I don't want that. I want a little bit of this like that. I'm going to take this piece now and add solidify to it. Click on even thickness and begin pushing it backwards. Something like that. Let's just give this a try. And I can get rid of a number of faces on here. I can get rid of these faces on the bottom and that face on the end, as well as this face on the end, and I can also get rid of the inside faces. So all I've got is the outside face and the top, and I just want these pieces to look like they're sort of embedded. I'm going to Shift Alt and click this edge here, and I'm just going to pull it down. I want sort of an angle like that on it, and while that's there, I'm going to bevel that with 3. Shift Alt and click there and 3. And I'll just take this and I'm just going to pull it up a little ways like that. And if I need to lengthen it down into the floor, I will. This part will go into the wall. This part you'll barely see. So we have this so far. Okay. We can come back to this piece here. And I just want to make sure that it sort of covers that area. I'm going to scale this into Z just a little bit. make sure it doesn't poke through the top. Okay, now with that selected, I'm going to press I to inset, pull in, and I may do something like this, and I might scale in the Y a little bit just to even it out and have this big sort of rectangle like that. So that's probably fine. And I'm going to press E to extrude and just gesture back a little bit so there's a bit of an indentation there. And depending on how we want to do this, I think I'm going to mark a seam right now on that. Okay, so this piece will be sort of separate. Making sure that it's on there. Yes, it is. Shift Alt and click this rectangle there, the outer edge, and Shift E to duplicate, pull it out, P to break it out, take this and F to make a face. I'm going to press I to inset again, hold Shift, and I just want to make a little border like a picture frame. Something like that. X faces. So we have this, A to select it all. Press E to extrude and extrude back just a little ways. And with that still selected, X faces to delete the faces. Now we're going to bevel this piece and then we'll put it in place. 2 for edge selection, Shift Alt and click the corners here. Like that. Control B, give it a little bit of a bevel. Do the same thing on these, Shift Alt and click. Zoom in and we'll round these out nicely. Control B, hold Shift and pull. Alright, now I'm going to push that back onto there. I might press S to scale just a little bit, and I just want to have this make contact, I think, back there. So I'm just going to pull it in a bit more. And hopefully that's not too deep. Actually, this piece could go in a little bit more to about there. Okay, so I have that. Let's just double check our orientation. It's looking good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark some seams on this. I want to break it here. So Shift Alt and click in the corner, in the middle of the 3 parts, the 3 edges of the bevel. So right in there, Control E, mark seam. And before we leave this, Shift Alt and click here, 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 and here. This is going to be to split it up in case I want the grain going up this way and then across and that. I'm going to Control E, mark seam there. So I can take this piece and this piece now and Control J to join them. And I'm going to use this post here. We'll try that as my center post. Bring my 3D cursor there and then take this and set the origin to the 3D cursor and add a mirror in the Y, and we'll just see how well it lines up, how even it looks, as opposed to using this top line. And I think that's probably okay. Okay, so with that done, I'm going to apply the mirror. I just find it easier. Look from the top, go into edit mode, Shift D to duplicate, pull that out and rotate 90. And then I'm going to press G and pull it over here. But let's break it out and then we'll get this one set up. And this one's a little bit different because there's not as much space. There's not enough room for 2 of these. So I'm going to go with 1. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to border select a bunch of this and Control L. X faces. I'm just going to get rid of that. Press 1 to look from the side, and I'm going to slide this in to about the middle. And yeah, this one's going to be a little different. What I was thinking of doing is just actually going to wireframe, is just pulling this under as long as it looks even. And this piece will have, this side would have just 1, and this side would have 2. And I hope that looks okay to you. There's not much I can do about that unless I make 2 smaller ones, and I don't think that's going to look as good. So, you know, whatever. Hopefully it's going to be okay. So we now need to take one of these things. I'm going to select all of that. I could build a new one, but I might as well just use that. Break that out, P to break it out, and I will get rid of any of the modifiers on it for now. And I'm going to rotate Z180. And I'm going to put that in the counter, and we'll just focus on the counter again. Okay, I'm going to look from the front, take that piece, and start putting it into position. So we have a bit more work to do here. Look from the side and just, where to go? There it is. Just get this into position on the first one here. So basically I'm going right in the middle of this, and I just got to figure out how far out. I want it about that position. Let's try just stretching this out first and seeing if I want to change the shape of this. So I'm going to look down from the top, go into wireframe, and border select that. And I'm going to press GX and bring it out to there. Don't worry, the other parts are going to get stretched as well. That's a little bit too much. I just want it there, so GX, pull it back to about there. Just want to have a look at that. I think that's going to be good. So I'm going to take this piece here and go into edit mode, and I'm just going to Shift D to duplicate. And by the way, this should already be have the seams on it. Okay, so that's good. Just get that in the center there. Shift D, another one here. Okay, let's select a bit of this one, and then we'll use this on the side. Shift D to duplicate. I'm just going to pull it out and rotate Z. Is it -90? Yes, it is. And look from the side. Pull that in. Look from the front. Center that up, and just try to get sort of a similar amount poking out. I think it needs to come out a little bit more. I'll copy this over, and then we'll move this countertop out to cover it. So right about there. Hold Shift. Okay, grab the countertop, look down from the top, go into wireframe, one for vertex and box select or border select that stuff, and then we're just going to move it out similarly. Something along that line, maybe a little bit more. GY, hold Shift, something like that. Okay, so yeah, I mean, you could put another design in there if you wanted to, but hopefully that's going to be okay. And that is that. So we've got these pieces, I'm going to join them, already marked with seams. This one, very simply, I'm going to Shift Alt to click down, right down the middle, mark seam. That one's okay like that. These ones already have the seams. And then for this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here because I want the grain to go this way and this way. I'm going to put a seam down there. And I'm going to, let's just focus on that thing itself. Let's see what else we want to do. I want to put seams in the middle of these, one there, and I'm going to put one here, not there, there, Control E, mark seam, and I think I'm going to take this middle piece, see if we can get it going all the way around there and there, mark seam, and we may have to do that on the bottom just to separate it out. Take that stuff there. You can try that. Okay, let's see. I just want to look at it in respect to there. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Okay, so I'm going to select that and focus on it. And we'll go to UV editing. And let's see what we can do. Let's just select this top part first and see how it unwraps. That's not bad at all. Let's try all the posts and just select a bit and Control L, U, unwrap. That's not bad at all. Let's select this bottom piece, unwrap. That's okay. Let's see, maybe we can straighten this though. Control L here. And open the side panel. I'm going to use UV squares, that paid add-on, and that'll straighten that out. It'll be a little bit nicer. And to grid by shape for that one. Okay, so we got that. And so we've done the top. Let's do these pieces. So I'll do it this way. These little supports. And I know that the shading is off a bit, so we'll deal with that in a bit. Control L. If I just go U, unwrap, I just get that. I could play around with straightening these, and I might be able to straighten them all at the same time. We could try that. Yeah, looks like it worked. And then it's this stuff here. Now, so let's, it's not really necessary to unwrap them separately. I could select it all and a piece of that, and Control L, unwrap. I just want to look at it, and that should be all right as well. So I think I'll select everything, and then I'll use average island scale, and then I'll just use UV Pack Master. You can use Blender to pack it, and we'll see that makes these awfully small, and I don't like that. So I feel a little bit bad for these things. So I'm going to actually select them again. Not that. This, and this. And I'm going to unwrap them again. That means I got to straighten these. Well, it's really not that important to do it, but I'll do it again. And it's going to make them, you know, like not so small. And let's just join everything there, and we will add weighted normal, and normal's auto smooth. Okay, it's on. Okay, and I can throw on the cavity shader. We're not going to stay here much longer here in Blender. I just want to double check that. Okay, so I'll come in here now, and I'm going to try packing this again, having made those a bit bigger, and let's see how our unwrap works. Just before we do that though, let's give this a name. It's not going to be shelving. This is going to be, I'll just call it counter, or whatever it is. I'm going to save, and let's create an FBX and bring that into Substance Painter. Okay, here it is in Substance Painter. It's time now to bake the mesh maps. I'll do this at 2K, uncheck thickness and ID, and bake. All right, there it is. Fortunately, we already have a wood material that we created last time. This wood here I used for the shelving, so I'm going to drag that on and start seeing how she looks. All right, I'm going to come into my smart material here, and you remember we made this change direction layer here. I'm going to clear that mask, and we're going to see what we have. So we have grain going this way for this one, but this way for this one, and we may have to deal with the edges as well. So I'm going to come into here, and I'm going to try using this and see how much it gets of the sides as well, and how evident it is. Okay, that's that. Let's see, let's come back here. Let's do that. And that one's going across like that. That one's going like that. I don't even care about the back really. But I mean, you know, if I had the separations, it might look like better pieces of wood, but that seems to be going in the right direction. This one's going that way, so I have to think about that. This one's going up and down, up to the side and up, sideways. So those ones are going pretty good. Oh, I like that. It's going that way. This one looks like the grain's going the wrong direction. I'm going to try the mesh. Click that. And now it's going up and down, just on that support there. This one as well needs that. And the post is going up and down. That one's okay. Yeah, this piece here is not as nice as I would have liked it to be. So, you know, it's possible that I'll go back and make some changes before I even think about that. Let me see what we got going on here. Okay, that goes around like that. And let's do this. That goes around like that. All right. I would have preferred to make this, you're never going to see it. You're never going to see a problem. But I would have preferred if this was like this. And so the way I might fix this, let me try this. Let me come back into here, and that one's sideways. No, that way. Sideways. They're all sideways. Let me just see if they fit a bit better. you see a little bit of a seam. Now I can draw dirt in there, you know, or I can unwrap this piece a little differently. And that makes me think, you know, maybe for this stuff, let me try and see what it's like if I just make it all go in the same direction. Let me just see what that's like. I mean, that's fine as it is as well. So, you know, it's up to you how you want to do this. Any chance I'd want that going in the opposite direction? Or does that look, I think that looks bad. I don't know. This is what we're coming up with. And what I might do is just come in here into the dirt and have a look at this. Yeah, I might bring that up a little bit more, make that a bit more dirtier. And so that's what we're seeing here. I probably could I could easily fix this by going back and making this as one piece, as opposed to putting a seam in there, and then it wouldn't be split into separate islands. And that might be something that we should look at doing, and I could do that for this as well. I just thought the effect would be neat, but I'm going to tell you right now that I think I'm going to come back in and I'm going to do that. I'm just simply going to Shift Alt and click there and there and there. I'm going to get them all right now, and I'm going to repack and re-throw on the texture, and we're going to see if that improves it. And if it does, then I'm going to be happier. Control E, clear seam. So I've gotten rid of that. I still have this thing splitting. That's fine. I'm going to take this. I don't even need that part. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select all this stuff and see. I just want to split that out for the moment. I want to have a look at this piece here. Okay, just around there, huh? All right, maybe a little bit of stretching this way, but all right, I'm going to bring that back and just focus on the counter. You know, I could do this much simpler really than using the inset like that, but I'm just going to merge by distance. There's nothing, and I'm going to just I'm going to try just another straight unwrap. No, I'm not. Okay, I'm going to grab these, and I'm just going to press unwrap, and I'm going to get that. I'll make them a little smaller, and I'll take everything and I'm going to pack again, and I'm going to create another FBX and just send it back out, and we'll see the update. All right, so there is the counter now done. Possible to still make some changes to it, but we'll see. And I'll just throw on this HDRI just to give it a slightly different look. Okay, I can still come in here, by the way, and down to one of these patterns. I can take this, and I can still darken this wood like that, desaturate it a little bit if we want to, and I can come in here to the first noise or the second noise. I can play with the offset of that if that bothers me, or the scale. Or the second one. Okay, kind of interesting like that. All right, so we're going to put that in the scene, and we are going to carry on. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.